practice, I would encourage you during this practice to notice the places where you are challenged and maybe you start to struggle within that challenge. And find ways that you can bring some gentleness back into your mind and your body. So maybe you notice, for example, that you're in a pose that you find really difficult and you start talking negatively to yourself because the pose is difficult. Maybe you bring gentleness back into your body and mind by just simply accepting that that pose is difficult right now and it's just the way it is. Maybe you use your breath to bring some gentleness back into the body. Or perhaps you just simply have to, let up on a pose a little bit and come out of it and then go back into it. So it'll be different for everybody, and those are just examples. But yeah, the main point is just to see where you're challenged, notice how you react to that challenge, and see how you can bring some peace and gentleness back into your mind and body during that challenge. Okay, so let's get started. Come over onto your hands and knees. And we'll do a couple of rounds of cat-cow. So hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Inhale, lift the tailbone, chin and chest. Exhale, round everything under. Inhale, lift the tailbone, chin and chest. Exhale, round everything under. Last one, lifting the tailbone, chin and chest. Exhale, round the back. Come back into your neutral position. Tuck the toes. Lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Relax the neck. You can start to pedal out the feet. And then just stay here for a couple of breaths. Inhale, begin to walk the feet between the hands. And your toes can be together here, or the feet can be hip-width apart, your choice. And just hang out here for a minute, relax the neck, relax the jaw. If you need to bend the knees here, that's perfectly fine. Maybe you want to roll the weight into the balls of your toes. Roll the weight back into the heels. And then find that place in the middle of the two. On your inhale, slowly roll up to a standing position. And then we will begin our warrior flow. So inhale, raise the arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, stepping back into your plank position. Take an inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So coming into warrior one on an inhale, we'll take the left heel and spin it towards the center of the mat. And then bring your right foot between your hands. Press equally into both feet. Lift the chest. Warrior one. If this is uncomfortable for you because of the back foot being bent out like that on an angle, you can come into just high lunge is fine. So raise the arms overhead if that's comfortable for you. And we'll take a couple of breaths here. On your next breath, open up into Warrior Two. So the body is now facing the long end of the mat. The left toes face the long end of the mat and the right toes face the short end of the mat. Body is facing the long end of the mat, and then you can look over the right fingers. Breathing. Finding the peace and gentleness in this warrior pose. We'll move into reverse warrior by shifting the upper body forward and then leaning back, taking the right hand overhead toward the wall behind you. Trying not to press into the knee, just letting the hand rest there. Inhale, back to Warrior Two. And then inhale, straighten the right leg. Turn the toes so that now the toes of both feet are facing the long end of the mat, and you're in a wide-legged standing position. And then we'll take the toes and turn them out. So turn the toes out, and then we'll lower into Goddess pose. So just sinking the hips down. Knees are directionally aiming back, so not torquing in, but going back. And we'll stay here for a couple of breaths. Remember, we're challenging ourselves, but trying to find some ease and peace in that challenge. So accepting where you are, accepting that it's hard. Inhale, straighten the legs. Turn the toes back in. Take the hands to the waist. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, take the hips back, fold forward. You can place your hands down on the ground or on a block. Breathing here. Inhale, press the hands into your blocks or into the floor and straighten the arms. Exhale here. We're going to pivot around to the back of our mat by walking the hands around, turning the left toes to the back end of the mat, popping the right heel up. And now we're in like a runner's lunge type position at the back of the mat. Inhale here, take the left foot back for plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Breathe here. And then inhale, walk the feet between the hands, folding forward, hanging out here for a couple of breaths. Noticing how your body feels, what your mind is doing, and bringing some gentleness back to the body and the mind. Inhale, raise the arms overhead, coming up to stand. Exhale, lower the hands back down. We'll do that again on the left side. So inhale, raise the arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, step back into plank. Take an inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. So warrior one on the left side, we will take the heel of the right foot and spin it towards the center of the mat. And then bring the left foot in between the hands. Bending the left knee, pressing equally into both feet. Lift the chest. And you have the option to raise the arms overhead. We'll stay here for a couple of breaths. Finding the peace within the pose. Open up for warrior two. Breathing. Maybe you're smiling a little. Then reach the left hand forward and take it up and over to the wall behind you. Again, being careful not to press the right hand into the knee, but just letting your hand rest. Inhale, come back up, warrior two. My legs are burning. I accept it. Inhale, straighten the left leg. So we'll go back into our goddess pose again, taking the toes out and then lowering down into goddess pose. So you can stay here, or you have the option of taking the hands behind the head. And then we'll just take the right elbow toward the right thigh. Back up. Left side. Back up. And just keep at this for a couple of breaths. And last one, to the right and to the left. Inhale, straighten the legs, turn the toes in. And we'll do our wide-legged forward fold again. So inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, take the hips back, fold forward. Hands resting on your block or on the floor. So keeping strength in the legs here, while also practicing flexibility. So don't let this all be flexibility you're using to enter this pose, but keep the legs strong. Inhale, press the hands into the floor, straighten the arms. Exhale. And then we'll walk around back to the top of our mat. So right toes face the short end of the mat, pop the left heel up, and we're now in our runner's lunge, back at our starting point. Inhale, take the foot back for plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Breathe here. Inhale, come to a seated position on your mat. Take the legs out straight in front of you. If you need to prop the hips up on a cushion to take any rounding out of the back, you can do that. Flex the toes. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And then exhale, take the chest forward towards the feet. So sternum towards the feet, hips going back. Forward fold. You can also use a strap here if you need it. So we're wanting to maintain the length of the back and not hunching over. So I like to think of my chest going forward instead of down. Notice how you're talking to yourself here. Notice if you're feeling extra tense in any of your body parts. See where you can bring in gentleness and ease. Inhale, come back up. We'll do reverse tabletop here. So heels or soles of the feet on the ground. Take the hands back behind you, fingers facing forward. Press into the feet, press into the hands, lift the hips. You also have the option for reverse plank here if you want to do that. And lower the hips back down. Come to cross the feet. And we'll take an easy twist to the right. So right hand goes to the right hip. Left hand goes to the right knee. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, take the sternum over to the right. You can take the chin over the right shoulder if that's comfortable for you, or just keep the chin aligned over the sternum. Last inhale here. Exhale, come back to center. We'll do that again on the other side. So take the left hand down next to the left hip. Right hand to the left knee. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, take the sternum over to the left. And again, you can gaze over the left shoulder, or you can keep the chin centered over the sternum. And come back to center. We'll do a couple of boat poses here. So another challenge, at least for me. Take the soles of the feet to the ground, knees are bent. And then tip back on the sits bones so that the toes now are touching the floor. And you can stay here, keeping the chest lifted. So maybe this is where you're challenged. Or you could take the shins parallel to the floor. Or you can go ahead and straighten the legs. Keeping the chest lifted. And then releasing, bring the soles of the feet together. Shake the legs out. We'll do that 2 more times. So, soles of the feet to the ground, knees are bent. Rock back to a balancing point on your sits bones. So if you're in this position and you're staying here, try not to let a lot of weight go into the toes. Find your balancing point where you can lift the chest and you're challenged with your balance. If you need to come out of it, come out of it. So we're balancing here. You could take the shins parallel to the ground or straighten the legs. And come back down, heels of the feet together, soles of the feet together. Shake the legs out. And last time, so bend the knees, rock back on the sits bones, balancing. So find your challenge place and find the gentleness in the challenge. And let it go. Soles of the feet together, shake it out. And then we'll come to lay down on our mats. Drawing the knees into the chest here. Rock a little from side to side. Then take the arms out into a T position and just let those knees drop over to the left. And if you want to, the head can drop over to the right. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, let the legs drop over to the right and the head can drop over to the left. Inhale, back to center. Stretch the legs out long, wider than the hips. Let the feet roll out to the side. Arms down by the body, palms facing up for your final resting pose. Begin to bring some movement back into the fingers, toes, feet and hands. Draw the knees back into the chest. And then roll over onto one side and slowly make your way back up to a seated position. Take a deep breath here and let it out. 2 more times, deep breath in and out. Last time, deep breath in and out. Thank you for practicing with me today. I hope that you are inspired to take the attitude of a gentle warrior into the rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.